you, Bill, and can I acknowledge you and your team for putting on this conference today and all that other work you do for other events like this, and obviously your well-respected publication. Can I also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting on today, and it's a privilege to be on Whadjuk Noongar land. To all those other distinguished guests, especially those in the Consulate Corps, welcome and thank you for your support for Western Australia's critical minerals and mining sector in general. I look around the room today and the presentations on the agenda, it's clearly understood that minerals such as lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese, graphite, high purity alumina, rare earths and copper will be essential to the rapidly growing clean energy technologies. With a rich endowment of these minerals, I look forward to positioning Western Australia as a destination of choice for the responsible sourcing of future-facing commodities that will drive global decarbonisation efforts. Having recently installed a 9.6 kilowatt hour battery at home, and pretty addicted at the app where I can check how much energy I'm producing all day. I look forward to my next vehicle being an EV. I'm taking a keen interest in the minerals critical in their makeup. Of course, I'm also curious about the provenance of these minerals, given a typical EV requires 6 times the mineral inputs of a conventional car. The International Energy Agency estimates that the average amount of mineral resources needed for a new unit of power generation capacity has increased by 50% since 2010, reflecting the rising uptake of renewables. In less than a decade, Western Australia has established a multi-billion-dollar battery and critical minerals processing industry. The challenge now is ensuring more global-scale investments are made in WA to expand our capacity in advanced critical minerals processing and battery chemical manufacturing. Our opportunity is to build upon the 3 lithium hydroxide refineries currently being commissioned or constructed by Tianqi Lithium Energy Australia, Albemarle and Covalent Lithium. At full capacity, these 3 refineries could produce up to 200,000 tonnes per annum, enough to power around 4 million electric vehicles. This would make Western Australia one of the world's top producers of this ingredient that feeds into lithium-ion batteries. It's been great as the Minister for Mines and Petroleum since December to visit mines across our state, to meet with proponents and in particular visiting with the Premier and Deputy Premier the Covalent Lithium mine opening, which the team at Wesfarmers and SQM have done a wonderful job at. And I know that projects like that show that we have an enormous potential and bright future in Western Australia. Now, of course, the state government's contribution in enabling this project was via $60 million in funding for the Maureen Rock to Mount Holland Road. With an expected cost of $2.6 billion, this project alone is supporting 1,000 jobs during construction and 350 jobs during operations. Covalent's Kwinana refinery is expected to deliver its first lithium hydroxide in early 2025. I look forward to following this project and many others in Western Australia's battery and critical minerals sector, including those emerging in rare earths. Rare earths are necessary for that high-strength permanent magnets underpinning electric motors in EVs, wind turbines and in defence applications. They are essential building blocks of an electrified, low-carbon economy. And the Cook Government welcomes major investments by Lynas Rare Earths and Iluka Resources, which are set to establish Western Australia as one of only a few jurisdictions in the world to offer processed rare earths. I'm told Lynas has completed construction of Australia's first facility to produce mixed rare earth carbonate near Kalgoorlie, while Iluka has flagged production from Australia's first fully integrated rare earth refinery in Eneabba in 2025. The refinery will produce separated I'm going to struggle with a few of these, neodymium, praseodymium and diprosium and terbium. I think next time I'll need that spelt out for me so I can say it properly. The latter two represent a key competitive advantage for Iluka and Australia, as they are currently only produced in China. The significance of rare earth potential in Western Australia is matched by the opportunities to capitalise on the battery value chain. It's not an easy time to be a player in this space, but I'm encouraged by the endeavours of companies seeking to produce battery-grade graphite, manganese, nickel and cobalt. Meanwhile, the state government acknowledges the efforts of those working towards producing precursor cathode active materials for lithium-ion batteries. Western Australia also has the resources to support the development of a vanadium redox flow battery industry. A major milestone was achieved in January this year with the opening of a vanadium electrolyte manufacturing facility by VSUN, a subsidiary of Australian Vanadium. Even with these successes to date, both the state and Australian governments remain acutely aware of issues facing the industry. To this end, I'm encouraged by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's Future Made in Australia Act and what it will mean for Western Australia and our battery and critical minerals industry. Government support at both the state and Commonwealth level is critical if we are to effectively overcome pressing issues and maximise the industry's potential. I have a very good relationship with our West Australian Federal Resources Minister, Madeleine King, and noted her opinion piece in yesterday's West Australian, acknowledging our state's central role behind the Commonwealth Government's Future Made in Australia Act. I met her recently, as a few of us in the room did, as we opened our West Australian hub in Canberra, somewhere for the West Australian Government, as well as proponents and West Australian companies to meet when we go to Canberra to talk to the federal government about those issues that impact the industry. I understand that the Australian government is considering measures, including a production tax credit for companies investing in critical minerals processing facilities. And I look forward to supporting both the Commonwealth and industry in any initiatives that deliver generational benefits for our state and for our country. Currently, international supply chains for critical minerals are continuing to transform. The United States Inflation Reduction Act, for example, offers both opportunity and increasing competitiveness. However, until the formal rulemaking process for dealing with foreign entities of concern are finalised, the full implications of the IRA are not yet known. And we will work with the Australian government to understand this better. We'll also continue to work with our peers in Canberra towards building stronger ties with other nations that will, in turn, support Western Australia's industry. Engagement with international markets and other key stakeholders was one of the issues raised by industry during the consultation process late last year for the state's refresh of its battery and critical mineral strategy. We've listened to this feedback, along with other issues including the availability of serviced industrial land and approval processes and timeframes. We want investors to choose to locate critical mineral processing operation in dedicated strategic industrial areas to benefit from lower establishment costs and the industrial synergies of being co-located with other critical mineral processors. The Cook government is very focused on progressing development of the land to support strategic industries. We are working closely with the Australian government while undertaking a critical minerals hub's feasibility study to ensure that our actions are complementary. One area that I'm keen to see improvements being made in is the approvals process. The Premier's announcement in December to overhaul the environmental approval system, including legislative change to slash green tape, will go some way to delivering certainty for job-creating projects. We will invest $18 million, and we are, to reduce bottlenecks and provide additional resources for key approvals. These initiatives will be supported by the new Coordinator General and a team within the Department of Jobs, Tourism, Science and Innovation to facilitate approvals across governments for projects of state significance. The West Australian Government, through a network of global investment and trade offices, is providing support and information for investors and buyers, ensuring the state remains an attractive destination for these partnerships to form. While financial assistance, particularly in terms of concessional loans and grants, is largely provided by the Commonwealth programs, the Cook government continues to provide some financial support. The current focus on providing grant funding for critical minerals and other new energy projects through the $60 million New Energies Investment Attraction Fund is one example of this. Government also plays a key role in supporting research and development, and this has been demonstrated most notably by the work conducted by the Future Batteries Industries Cooperative Research Centre and the Minerals Research Institute of WA. Further information on government priorities and actions will be provided in the state's updated strategy, which will be released next year. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today and for your ongoing contributions to West Australia's battery and critical minerals industry. I wish you all a successful conference. I wish I was able to stay here. You've got some very interesting topics coming down the line, but unfortunately today is a sitting day and it's likely I'm going to be putting a piece of legislation through Parliament later today. But again, thank you for what you do for our state and for Australia. I wish you again a successful conference and look forward to seeing our industries remaining strong and continuing to grow over the coming years. Thank you.